Servlet architecture. Servlets are grouped under the advanced Java tree that is used to create dynamic web applications. Other tasks that a servlet can do effectively are can easily manage or control the application flow, suitable to implement business logic, can effectively balance the load on the server side, easily generate dynamic web content, handle HTTP request and response. Types of servlets. Basically, there are two types of servlets are there. Generic servlets and HTTP servlets. Generic servlets. These are those servlets that provide the functionality for implementing the servlet. It is a generic class from which all the customized servlets are derived. The class used is javax.servlet.servlet. Next one is HTTP servlet. These are protocol dependent servlets that provide support for HTTP request and response. There are three potential ways in which we can employ to create a servlet. Implementing servlet interface, extending generic servlet, extending HTTP interface. Components of servlet architecture. Servlet architecture contains the business logic to process all the requests made by the client. Below is the high level architecture diagram of a servlet. First one is the client. The client shown in the architecture above is web browser. Client is nothing but web browser. And the web browser and its primary work as medium that sends the HTTP request over to the web server, and the web server generates response based on the some processing in the servlet, and the client further process the response. Next one is web server. Primary job of web server is to process the request and responses that a user sends over time and maintain how a web user would be able to access the files that has been hosted over the server. There are precisely two types of web server, static web server and dynamic web server. Next one is web container. Web container is another typical component in servlet architecture which is responsible for communicating with the servlets. Two prime tasks of web container are managing the servlet lifecycle and URL mapping. Advantages. Prime function of servlet is that they are independent of server configuration and they are pretty much compatible with any type of web servers. Disadvantages. Designing a servlet can be pretty laborious. Exceptions need to be handled while designing a servlet since they are not thread safe. Developers may need additional skills to program a servlet.